done been here for a minute. When the fuck this shit gon' finish? I done worked since like 11, maybe 12, but I can't remember. Probably cause the motherfucker smoke too much, cause I know too much. Could you hold my cup? What would you do if I died today? Probably just smoke up and ride away. If I could see it, I'd devise the plan. Probably overanalyze it, damn. I can't even recognize you, bitch. I done got too fucking high, you bitch. Shit, that's a problem. If you got solutions, you can fucking.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of MC2MC. It's your dude, Superb.
Oh, Tom.
David Missile.
Yeah, man, and a few projects and things that dropped this week, man. We're gonna talk about the new YEAT album. Kitty Mason dropped a EP of a few songs, and then also
Destroy Lonely.
Yeah, I forgot his name in that instant. I didn't like the song.
Yeah, me either, really.
I can't even remember what the song's called. What's it
A
called?
little
again?
disappointed, honestly.
What is it called again? Something beautiful or something? Be
Looks
pretty,
Skill
looks
or
to kill
something, yeah.
like that. Yeah, I just listened to it too.
Yeah, you think with how big he is right now, coming off that No Stylist song.
No Stylist is hard.
Yeah, you'd think that he would like want to come out with like a stone cold banger, but yeah,
The
it's
Destroy
not that.
Lonely kid?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
He's on Cardi's thing?
He's on Cardi's label. Yeah, Opium. With King Carson, and I think there's some other guys too.
How involved do you think Cardi is with that? Because, you know, like, these labels, we know they all have a history. Like, people like Drake or Ye and stuff, they'll get these labels, but they're not really too involved with the
I think it's a
artists and
Young
shit.
Thug type situation with YSL. I think it's something like that where he's really just signing clones of himself. But, I mean, you know.
I call them vanity labels.
Yeah.
Where it's just a brand, you know, so, and he could just bring on people and he can also, you know, profit off of it as well.
Yeah.
But also help out, you know.
Yeah, and you can give your fans songs that kind of hold you over till your next release because it's like kind of the same sound. So,
but I do get what Perb's saying about artist labels
and
how they're not so, you know, can come off not supportive enough.
Yeah, you know, I feel like, man, if you're going to run, I mean, I get it, though. It's like, I feel a lot of these guys, they do these sub-labels and stuff when they're, like, in the heyday of their career, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they don't necessarily have time to build up these artists and shit. I just think it's weird that they choose to make these labels and things knowing that they probably won't be that involved.
who do you think does the
Could be
best
tax
job?
write-offs, too.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
What artist label do you think does the best job with? I think Dreamville does a really good job.
Dreamville's good with that, yes. Yeah.
Seems like J. Cole actually cares too.
Yeah.
Why am I forgetting?
I mean, I saw Playboy Cardi riding around with King Carson and all of them.
Like,
the
I
other
wonder
day,
if,
so, I
they,
mean, I
if
guess
it's just
friends.
that they're fans. Like, Cardi's fans of these kids.
Oh,
but
yeah, I
doesn't
was
mean
going to say
everyone else is gonna be.
Janelle Monáe's that Wonderland album, label or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
is.
I don't think I've ever
Like-
heard a Janelle Monáe song, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, not really.
I think she's got. I think there's an interesting aspect to her label. I mean, there's just like a bunch of, I don't know, all kind of like pop people and shit,
Yeah.
but it fits. I also like PC music. I feel like their whole
yeah.
roster,
PC music's cool.
they've got great shit. I think, you know, it's a sound over there that reflects, and I think everybody's doing dope
I don't really
stuff.
see that as an artist label.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah, I
It
guess
started
not.
by A.G. Cook, right? Is it A.G. Cook?
A.G. Cook. A.G. Cook is an artist. He does
He
make
was like a
music too.
producer first.
It's kind of like a
though.
collective.
He makes music.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more so like a collective. But I still feel like the people who are in that or like coming to that, like they're doing good in like their sector of
Yeah.
the musical community and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I don't know what it is with like the hip hop labels. Not a lot of them too much do it, but yeah, Dreamville, I guess.
I'll be interested to see what Kendrick does with that PG Lang,
Yeah,
like Baby Keem, and
I think
don't know who else he
they've
would
got a good
sign,
start
but-
going over there with
Yeah.
those two.
Very artsy.
Yeah.
What do y'all feel like should be expected of those kind of labels?
I think everyone's responsible for their own career.
Yeah.
So if those artists are not doing well, then maybe your songs aren't good, or maybe you're not doing enough.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect just because you're signing to Playboy Cardi, like he's gonna make your dreams come true and do 90% of your work.
Yeah, for sure. I think the artist who starts the label definitely has a not necessarily a responsibility, but I think they should at least try to like get them together with people that they think would elevate their music.
Well, it's not the artist, I don't think, responsibility. To me, they're just co-owners.
No.
They name like a president usually. I know Dreamville is structured. They're set up pretty good. Like there's a president of Dreamville. There's also Dreamville Ventures. There's Dreamville studios or something for content creation that could help out his artists. Like J. Cole's a little different.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I feel like I view a music label as somewhat similar to a sports organization or something. I feel like, you know, what kind of staff members and stuff you have there is going to play a big part in those artists. I don't think the artist who starts the label necessarily needs to be there, but it would be cool if they took more initiative to make sure there's a good staff and shit in place to make sure the artist or whatever on that label
is J. Cole Greg Popovich?
Is he Greg Popovich of the
J. Cole Pop? That's funny.
He might be. He might be, man. He's definitely, he
just did a song with some Korean dude, some K-pop.
Oh yeah,
dude.
from BTS.
That was the one thing I forgot to listen to. Damn, I was gonna listen to that.
There's like a whole video and stuff.
It
He's
did
going
drop.
into the military.
Did you listen to it?
No, I just saw like a trailer for the video and it looked cool.
Yeah, all the BTS guys are going to the military.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a mandatory thing.
Mandatory thing. So they're going to go ahead and go early. They're purposely putting themselves in, and they're going to do it for like a few years so they can come back.
Dude, Hybe, do you guys know that we're getting into corporate shit right now? But Hybe Corporation, they're the label that is
that
BTS
oversees them. Yeah,
they just bought like there's SM Entertainment over there. They bought like 14% or something for like $900 million or some crazy shit. But they're like trying to get most of that SM Entertainment. They also just bought Quality Control. Scooter Braun kind of leads the Hybe America over here. They're trying to make a competitive major, and they're doing it, dude. They own Big Machine down the road. They own Quality Control. What's the other big one they own? He has all of fucking Atlas Publishing, all of Scooter Braun's previous shit, like Bieber and Ariana Grande and shit, and whoever owns those things. There's another fucking hip hop label. No, not 300. Warner has them. Some other fucking big ass hip hop label I think they got too, but they're all like $300 million, which honestly I don't know if
that doesn't sound too expensive.
Quality Control, I feel, because Little Baby's on there, Yachty's on there, like mad people are on there, but supposedly they sold because of all the there may be some corruption or some type of foul play, so they just wanted to sell and make bank and get out real quick before the courts kind of got up them. Because the whole Young Thug thing probably started a lot of shit.
King Slime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 21 Savage came out and was saying that, Atlanta's not the same right now.
I doubt it. Yeah. I mean,
and sorry,
go.
Mad news and stuff. So one of my interns was telling me that Tay Keith is opening a studio here in Nashville. And that J. Cole, I think, was at Belmont recently, and that her teacher was saying that a lot of companies are sending their hip hop artists to Nashville because it's cheaper than sending them to LA. So there may be a lot more hip hop studios popping up.
That'd be rad.
That'd be really rad.
That'd be exactly what the city needs.
It does need that. It definitely needs some kind of catalyst within the hip hop.
And those artists should definitely come on the #1 music podcast in Nashville.
Yeah, and come to the like one of the only hip hop labels and studios in town.
Yeah, definitely.
Solid.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I kept
No, that's
going.
solid. That's solid. That's great news to hear. That's actually refreshing. I didn't know that. That's definitely what's needed here. But yeah, no, that was
Oh, also, this house is part of a historic thing.
Yes,
I didn't know that.
Jimi Hendrix.
No. Like literally, like if we knock this house down, it could only be rebuilt in the same way. This whole street right here is a historic street.
It has to be made the same. Oh.
Yeah, so that's why Melissa's house next door is rebuilt exactly the same. Like they couldn't alter it or change it because it's a historic like landmark area.
Yeah.
So you'd have to like
keep that look of it.
We're in a historic house.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean,
I feel historic.
It feels,
I'm a legend.
I feel the energy.
Dude, mad news today. Mad news. We didn't even talk about YEAT yet.
No, we haven't talked about YEAT yet. let's talk about YEAT, man. I like this new album.
Too long. It's
is
too
too
long. Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the thing. I mean, you know, we all know that most artists today, I feel like, no, more predominantly in like the hip hop community, they are doing these long playlist type albums.
Yeah.
It's a good way to put it. Playlist albums.
Yeah.
That's what Drake was doing it first. He
was.
And I mean,
yeah, with the playlist.
I get why it's like that, but this type of music, I don't think it benefits from the album being long. I think it would do more streams. I think 22 songs would do more streams if it was broken up into 2 albums. Maybe I'm totally wrong, but I think it would.
Wasn't his last one pretty short though?
I don't know.
What was it called?
Was
it Just Life?
Who even knows? I feel like he's making up words a lot too.
Wait, what was the question?
What was his last project?
Yeats.
It was smaller, right? I think it was smaller.
I don't know. I didn't really like too much off of that one, but this one, I don't know what it is. It's something about it, and I had to come to terms with who YEAT is and what am I trying to get out of YEAT when I listen to YEAT.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not going for some lyrical dive or well-written songs or anything. Like, no, he's like a guy, I'll put it this way. He's like a guy you would study for like certain elements or something, right? So it's like YEAT to me is like an underground artist.
Yeah.
Even though he's like kind of mainstream.
Even though he had more streams than all of the best new music or the best new artists for the Grammys.
Yeah.
Like, he was bigger than all of it. He
A-listers.
should have been on the He should have been nominated.
But he's so out there. He's kind of, I do get the Playboy Cardi comparison, actually. More as time
Definitely.
goes on, I get it. He's definitely.
Especially with, like, the ad-libs.
Yeah, he's
and,
something
like,
else.
It, like, creates this, like, weird, like...
At the time when we were
Yeah.
hearing it on the last album, we just didn't really get the comparison. We're like, nah. Like,
I mean, I get it from a production and like a vocal style, but like
it's still different.
Yeah, it's
Vocal
different.
Style's
Yeah.
different. Like, it's not.
I think it sounds more like Future, if anything.
Yeah, it's more. It's definitely more in there. There were some songs I heard on the project where I'm like, yo, this sounds like a Future song.
There was one where I thought Future was
Yeah.
a feature, and I was like, I looked at it, and like I forget which one it was, but
Did y'all see the Rolling Loud Playboy Cardi performing like an
Oh,
unreleased
it's
song?
crazy.
That was like metal as fuck.
yeah,
Yeah, that I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to.
dude, he has to.
Because if he goes in that direction, then Yeat can kind of chill in this a little longer.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what Playboy Cardi's gonna do next? He needs to start putting those guitars on his live shows in the album.
Yeah, that shit
is
sounded
crazy,
beautiful.
like hardcore.
When he did the fucking encore.
Yeah, with
Right.
Location,
Yeah, with
and it had that
Location.
guitar over it. It was beautiful, man.
Yeah, that guitar of a location was crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I like the Yeat thing. I'm at like I've only listened to it like twice all the way through. So
It's
like,
a long listen.
It's a hard long listen too because it's very similar.
Everything is it goes. It can get kind of monotonous.
Although he does have a few songs where he changes it up, the sound.
There's one towards the end where it's like just a guitar kind of thing. That
Yeah.
I fucked with. It was very.
The last song has like real drums on it, and it sounds pretty cool. I like that. And there's one like kind of towards the beginning that has like a bouncy. It's not trap. It's like a bouncy like kind of dance beat. It's
Back
interesting.
Home, I think.
I
I do like a lot of these songs, and I don't know. I'll have to go through. I'm probably will take some of my hearts away or add more. But what I was saying earlier, I will give Yeat his props as an artist. He does have a
absolutely.
sound, and I think the work he's doing with Benny X is cool. Shouts out fucking Benny X, because
yeah, the production's insane.
what I respect about Yeat is he's really just working with the same producer on most of his shit. And I feel like a lot of rappers these days are not doing that. They're grabbing from like BeatStars, or they're grabbing, whatever beat from whatever producer and shit, and just kind of essentially playlisting their production and shit as well,
Yeah.
which I think fucks up the cohesiveness. But when I listen to him, like, even though it can get monotonous at times, he definitely has a sound.
Yeah, it's much more
Yeah,
cohesive,
yeah.
and it it takes longer to do it that way because not everything you make you might spend 8 hours on something and like, oh, well, scratch this, move on to something else. Where you can just, if somebody's sending you a shit ton of different beats, it's much faster and you can pump stuff out. So I appreciate taking the time and making this as good as you can.
Yeah. I mean, other than it being too long, I think my other issue with it is I think it suffers from the verses not being as interesting as the choruses, and it takes a while to get to the choruses sometimes. Sometimes there's long-ass verses.
Well, look, that's what I was saying. I think for me, that's what I'm saying. I'm not going in expecting that. A lot of his music, it sounds like some kind of, acid pipe dream, fever dream going on or some shit. Yes, his verses and stuff are kind of long. And it actually sometimes takes a few listens to go back in and like distinctualize like what the fuck the verse is or the chorus is and shit. It just kind of it's like one big ass run-on sentence or something sometimes it feels like.
There was one song that really stuck out to me, and I think it's going to be a hit, is that How It Go.
Oh, yeah, How It Goes. That shit is hard.
How It Go is instantly catchy. Like, as soon as that...
How It Go.
No, that one's pretty good, too.
That was cool.
This one, like, the actual, like, vocal
How
line.
It Goes.
Yeah, it's like a cool-ass melody.
Yeah, that shit's hard, bro. I fuck with it. No, that's great. And I also like his ad-libs and shit. I think he's got a cool world he builds with his vocal effects and shit. Nobody's really doing what he does on that end of things. And fucking with that, that song you're saying, like saying "ah-ooh" through a song the whole time. It's like that's kind of cool, bro. I'm like, all right, he really went there with that, bro. Like,
kind of makes me think of was that Lost in what's that London song? Duran Duran?
Huh?
Like the
Hungry Like the Wolf. That
something like that, yeah. Or maybe I'm thinking of Kid Rock.
No, the one with the Hungry Like a Wolf and it's got the howl in the back.
Yeah, he does that, doesn't he?
Maybe. I haven't heard that song forever.
Yeah. There's a howl in that. There's definitely a howl in that.
But I mean, I like it. I've liked most of Yeat's stuff though. It's just nothing's ever like
none stands out.
Nothing like where I'm like this is all I want to listen to.
So no replay value.
I think it has replay value, but only in certain context. Like,
like when you're playing games and you're streaming.
Yeah, like it's kind of background music
because it's not offensive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's and the beats are rocking.
Yeah. Yes.
That's
my favorite part about it is the production and like his vocal, the way his vocals like dance around the track. It's an
interesting, like we were saying, combination of fucking like heavy but very chill at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah.
That gonna kind of slide.
Yeah. And it kind of brought me back to like the first time I heard Young Thug. In the way of like part of me thinks that it's like a practical joke half the time.
Really?
Like, cause when he just be like, there's a few songs on here where he'll just like trail off into like scatting. Like he's literally like scatting.
Yeah.
Like saying nothing at all. Like just like noises. But it's kind of cool. And it's like, should I like this? But
that's why I'm like, I feel he's that's why I feel like anyone who's like a songwriter or you're doing like traditional prog or you're like looking for something to get experimental or add some. I'm thinking here from like an artist who's trying to experiment with some shit. I think Yeat's like a great listen. It's like he can like write some meaningful songs and shit like that and then put that kind of vibe or processing and shit. I don't know. I think he's just like a nice art case to study. He's interesting. I don't know. But like,
he definitely has an ear for beats. He knows what to pick because they are hard. So
maybe he's in the room, like you said. He has prod credit on.
Yeah, he did produce. Yeah, oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, he produced a couple songs on there himself. Yeah. So yeah, he's producing chops too. That's fucking cool. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's in there with some of those beats, just working it out. He has to be, cause like,
especially if it's only one producer.
Yeah, he has to be. Like, I mean, Benny X, there's like a few other producers and stuff, and then like I said, of course he did himself, but like Benny X did majority of the fucking stuff, or he was credited on it with like some other guys. So,
and I have a feeling that Yeat will be around for a minute now. Like I think he will stick around.
Well, we watched a video on him. I don't know, like a couple months back, where it was going through like some of his early shit and how he was talking about how a lot of his early shit got scrubbed, but they found like one song and it was kind of cool sounding. Like, he's always had this little ethereal melodic shit going on. He actually made more sense in his earlier music.
Really?
Like, yeah, he was more audible. Like, as the shit progressed, he started getting like really off with it. Like,
He's definitely doing the voice on purpose.
intentionally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same,
That's cool.
Same with Cardi. with
So you
the
think he has
voice.
more longevity than the rest of the underground peeps?
I think he does just because the 2 tracks on here where he kind of switched it up with the sound, I think he'll be willing to experiment more than a lot of other guys. Like, but yeah, I think he'll be around for a minute because of that. I think he'll definitely switch it up at some point. He'll probably do a few more albums that sound like this, but I think he'll switch up his sound eventually.
Sure.
And I think that's what it takes to like stick around, not staying too monotonous.
Yeah. All right, man, and yeah, let's talk about this Kenny Mason here.
All right, so Kenny Mason. This is a new EP from Kenny Mason. He's been at it for a minute now, but hasn't really released a project like a full album in a minute. He's just kind of been doing EPs and shit. But yeah, this is solid. 3 tracks. I like all of them. The last one, I think it could be a little tighter, but you know, just a little experimentation. But Avatar and 100 or None they're hard.
I like
'em.
Avatar the best.
Me too.
The 100 Nuns okay, and
that
then I'm
the
not
first one?
into the third song, that fucking rock one. I did want to expand my thoughts upon the Back Home. Not a fan. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I think
it reminds me of that Trippie Redd, like Pegasus versus the Mega Shark shit he did with Travis Barker.
yeah, I definitely don't think it's that corny, but
I mean, there's a couple songs I like off of that Pegasus versus Mega Shark. What a mouthful, But I mean, there's a couple cool things. I mean, I was never like a big fan of Blink 182 or any of that anyway.
yeah, I mean, I just feel like it's not really your
I'm not into
style.
that.
Like
I
you're
don't
just
think
not
those
into
guitars
it.
sounded like Blink 182.
No, it sounded more like
I mean,
butt
no,
rock kinda shit.
no. I'm not saying that, dude. I was just saying I'm not into that. I'm not really too much into the early 2000s rock sound anyway. I do like Linkin Park and that's about it.
kind of reminds me of like Deftones. Stuff like that.
Deftones?
Yeah. Like the guitars, heavy,
Yeah.
distortion stuff.
No,
Okay,
like
yeah.
high end to them. They're like really rumbly.
Yeah.
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 Almost kind of shoegazy, but not really.
I'm definitely into anything more 90s rock or previous 70s.
It seems like you like that late 90s, the early 2000s, but the grunge side of it.
Yes.
Like
I do like that.
Soundgarden.
I like that. I also like a lot
Audio
of the
Slave.
shoegaze in the 90s too. I like
Yeah. I don't
My
know
Bloody
shit about
Valentine, Lush.
That's shoegaze?
Yeah, My Bloody Valentine, Lush, Swerve Driver, fucking there's a lot of cool guys.
How old
Also,
is shoegaze?
like late 80s. It was going on at the same
Was
time
it
as
called
grunge.
that then?
Yeah, it was going on at the same time as grunge.
Interesting.
It's the sounds
it is
are
interesting.
similar, but they are very different. Like grunge is grunge, like shoegaze is grunge, but very dreamy sounding.
Yeah,
it's like
ambient.
grunge on heroin.
yeah, it's
like,
grunge on heroin or
yeah.
some shit. Yeah, it's very dreamy, like sludgy, like
It's fascinating how detailed subgenres can get.
yeah, it's a very, very, very big difference. The name shoegaze originated from a lot of these bands like Lush and shit, My Bloody Valentine. When they were on stage, they would be looking at like their fucking pedal rig and shoes and shit. So they're like, "Oh, this is shoegaze," instead of like looking at the crowd and stuff.
It's definitely very pedal driven.
Very pedal driven. I think My Bloody Valentine, they're the kings. Anybody knows shoegaze, they probably most likely agree with that statement. They are very influential in that sound. But I love all the other bands too. It's great. Yeah, I like a lot of that stuff. The 90s, early 2000s, like I said, I fuck with Linkin Park. I fuck with the blending of like rap and this electronic rap
They were
shit they were
different,
doing
dude.
with the rock. I don't know. It was cool. They were. I've watched video. What's that one guy on YouTube? Like he plays the piano, but then he'll be breaking down the best rock songs of all time.
Rick Beato?
Rick Beato. Rick
Yeah.
fucking Beato.
Shout
that
out to
guy.
Rick Beato.
Shouts out Rick Beato.
He's a shit.
I watched a video of him like a couple years ago where he was talking about like the death of rock music, and he was just kind of going through all the eras, like '60s up to like early 2000s.
Like when the next decade took over,
Yeah.
the next era.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
And even he was into that. He feels like the early 2000s was kind of some of the last great rock.
Yeah.
I just heard, or I just read something that Afrobeat is going to overtake hip hop.
Interesting.
Like hip hop's going to change into that, and it's just because technology is starting to get to a lot of these places in the world. So a lot of like Latin, Hispanic music, like reggaeton and stuff, and Afro beats are apparently going to be the next huge thing.
They already are huge.
They're huge around the world. Just
here,
when it's huge here, then it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yeah, I think rock. I think the reason it died is just because bands stopped trying to innovate. Like I don't think anyone was trying to do anything like new. Most of those early 2000s bands were just like super corporatized versions of like 90s shit. Like they were trying to like get that Kurt Cobain, Pearl Jam kind of voice, like, you know, like Nickelback. If you listen to early Nickelback, like their first album, he's like he's doing a Kurt Cobain impression. It's hilarious. But
interesting.
I wonder if it's because we were chatting about this before, where you kind of by purposely not trying to be pop, you limit yourself a little bit, or whatever your definition of pop is, you know? So I bet you like Maroon 5 and all those guys, Coldplay kind of ruined it for a lot of rock bands because they think that's what a pop rock band does or whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, Maroon 5, like...
They're cool. I don't have any issues with them.
Yeah,
personally.
They just went super pop, like
they
to where it's not even
super pop,
like a band. It doesn't sound like
it's
a
just
band
Adam
anymore.
Levine.
Yeah,
but I wonder if that's why rock hasn't really innovated, because they think that that's what it is and they don't like it.
And I mean, I don't think rock died. There's definitely bands that I love.
There is,
like,
but
there's great bands.
We're
Remo
talking about
Drive,
just
Car Seat
where, like-
Headrest, like so many good bands.
Yeah, I
but
get. Yeah, there are a lot of great
It's
bands.
just not in the
But
mainstream.
we're talking about the death of rock. Is what he's saying is it's not the number one thing anymore. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
it's not the death of the genre itself. Its popularity has waned, and it is because a lot of guys are just not doing cool shit all as a collective. It's only like select bands and guys now. Like,
yeah, and there wasn't any identifiable like immediate front man. Like there wasn't like a Kurt Cobain for the early 2000s, like someone who like had that presence on stage. I just don't think anyone was really
Freddie Mercury's of the time.
No, and it's probably just like it's because all those guys were like they were authentically fucked up. Like they had problems, but I think people identified with those problems. But I think a lot of the bands after that, they saw that like those people they didn't last very long, like life-wise, so they were like too clean, and I think that's why people didn't like latch on to them, which, you know.
Did people know about their problems back then though? Because
yeah,
about Freddie Mercury's problems and stuff, like those guys. Because there's like
See,
it's not like today.
I mean, you definitely know 5 years after it happened, so you would try to be clean about it. Like,
but back then you could have way more control about what.
Yeah.
That's why you had PR agencies. Like if there's something, you know, if he killed a hoe or some shit in a fucking hotel or something like that, you know, and then had to deal with that. But like nowadays, I would agree that people really look for that authenticity because there's so much fake shit now.
Yeah, and I think that's why hip hop is so big. It's just because there's a lot of authentic personalities. At least they get portrayed as authentic personalities.
I mean, there is a lot of them. I mean, but at the same time, the main ones, we know who they are and what sticks out. Like the Travis Scotts and the Playboy Cardis and the X's and the Juices and all the guys like that. I mean, there's not really. I mean, it's the same in any wave of music. I feel like there's a lot of names, but no, actually, when you really think about it, no, there's only a few of those guys who have that effect.
Yeah,
like it's not a. I think it's
like I can't really even name a front man from a band like post 2000 that like is a like huge guy.
Just Adam Levine and those guys.
Yeah, so
you know. But I did also want to make a point with that song. The Back Home. I don't like it much, and I was giving Yachty more props because of that. Because I was like, oh, yo, because every time a hip hop artist tries to do one of these rocks. They go for this every time. I don't know what. I swear, bro, it's not just the kids who grew up in that. Like when Lil Wayne did Rebirth, it sounded like that shit too. Although it was made in like 07.
Well, that's what was popular at the time.
I mean,
But,
it
like-
didn't age well, but I thought that was the coolest thing at the time.
At the time.
At the time, I thought it was wild.
At the I've got
I
some
hated
guilty
it at the
pleasures out
time,
there
but-
that I still like. Yeah, I
Yeah.
got some guilty pleasures that I listen to, like, you know, but no, it's not that great.
Yeah,
And
I didn't like it much, but I appreciate it for what it did, but yeah, I wasn't into it.
I feel like, yeah, no, I mean, even I don't care if it was around that time, still, it was just that going for that. It's like, it seems like what every hip hop artist does.
Yeah,
Lil
yeah.
Yachty went with something conceptual. You know, I don't like every single song, but I do like a good majority of them. It's cohesive, the sound flows, it's mixed well. Like, he obviously went for a certain theme of rock.
Lil Yachty probably has a bigger budget too. Like Kenny Mason's still a pretty small artist. Like,
Bro, man, it's not about a budget, man. It's about making good fucking music.
yeah,
Like,
but that
that's what
Lil
it is.
Yachty album sounds expensive. Like that was
Well, I
definitely
mean,
an expensive.
but yeah, but there's been hella songs we like that didn't sound expensive, but the fucking song was a vibe, and like we just fucking love it because of that.
Sure, but Yachty had like known people. Like he had Mac DeMarco. Like he had a bunch of guys to come in and help with that sound. I don't think Kenny Mason's there yet. Like awareness level. Like I don't think that many people know who he is yet. I mean, he's definitely big. I'm not saying he's not big, but he's not Lil Yachty big.
What
where
do you
can
think
get
stopping him
those
from
guys.
getting there?
The hit? He doesn't really have a hit.
That's what I'm fucking saying. All right,
Well,
good
it could
song.
also be his desire to want to learn more or work with other people.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people just kind of stay in their cave. And
I definitely think Kenny Mason does a better job with the rock shit than most people, though. I think it sounds.
Yeah, he's got some cool rock.
It doesn't
songs,
sound
but I'm
like-
that one
okay.
project that was kind of rock trappy was
Yeah.
was good.
That was a couple years ago. That was the what was
Like
that
Supercut
one?
or whatever?
Yeah, Supercut.
And I think he does a good job of melding the two.
And
It's
does
not
a
like
good rap.
it's not just like just rock. Like he has kind of like
There's a blend.
yeah, it's a blend.
I'm not saying he's horrible at it. I'm just saying it's not that great. And Lil Yachty did a better job.
Yeah, I mean I would agree. Yeah, definitely different. They're going for different sounds. And I
Different
just don't think
sounds.
you like that sound as much.
Mm.
You're just not into that. It sounds like that early 2000s rock shit, and you're just not really.
I
into
do
it.
like some of the butt rock stuff.
Yeah, I mean
Like
it-
that Headstrong song or whatever. I fuck with that song. That song go fucking hard.
Well,
A
you
lot of
know.
people hate that song.
Yeah, it sucks, but I also enjoy it. Yeah.
That song?
Yeah,
that
yeah.
fucking Headstrong.
Trapped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck with it, dude. I
All
like it.
all that early 2000s butt rock has a
like
special place in my heart. Yeah.
Bro, that shit hard, bro. Like that's a hard ass.
I like some of my earliest music memories are like this mix CD my sister gave me when she was like just went to college that had like a bunch of that early 2000s rock shit on it, like
I think
Three
a
Doors
lot-
Down and like Puddle of Mud and shit like that.
Great stuff, man. I
It-
like it.
yeah, it
I
has
feel like a lot of those
special
songs
place.
could be like repurposed in like a cover, and they would be great.
yeah.
Well, it's going to be interesting, I think, is since like all the 18, 19-year-olds right now are they're into that Y2K
Yeah.
era now. So I think
Yes.
I've been getting a lot of submissions that have that like Kanye style, like college dropout vibe to it.
Yeah.
So that might come back in the next few years. So who knows?
Yeah, I think early 2000s is definitely going to be a resurgence. Definitely,
degree.
I see it already.
It already
It's happening.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kai's rocking shit that I remember when it came out when I was in high
Like
school. Like the Bape stuff when that was
Yeah.
fucking huge.
like Jinko jeans, like those are gonna come back.
Yeah, right. You know, it always does. It always repeats itself, man. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of how I'm feeling. We didn't give any ratings here. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
Man.
I don't think I don't have like a, I don't know. The Yeet thing, I'm like at a 6 or 7. Man, a 7.
I was gonna say a 6,
Yeah.
but I have to listen to it again.
I'm gonna say,
a couple times.
I have a lot of likes on this thing right now. I don't want to be fucking audacious and say it's like an 8 or anything, though. But
Maybe a light 8.
yeah, maybe like a light 8 for now. I need to go through and listen a few times
We
because
might
the shit
have
I
to come
like,
back to it.
I might take some hearts away or add some. I don't know, but
Yeah.
when I was like working out and listening to it, I'm like, oh shit, that's like vibing.
Mhm.
And the ones I didn't like them. Like I feel like I had a nice intuitive feeling for the songs that I heard.
Yeah, I don't think this album. I don't. I don't think Yeat in general is really like meant to be set. Like you're not really supposed to sit down and listen intently to it.
No.
That's not what it's for. So like reviewing it on that, like it's kind of weird.
It's just supposed to vibe, dude.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
vibe.
I heard.
It's
Like
just
I said, I
background
was just
music.
working out, listening. It was good.
Yeah, I was enjoying it way more.
And
last
then how
night.
it goes when it came on, I was at the gym. I was like, "Oh shit, what is
Yeah.
this?" Like, yeah, it hit me.
Yeah, last night I
Wow.
was enjoying it more than when I listened to it this morning.
Dude, how you listen, like the mood you're in really does matter.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Like listening to it today, like I was mixing and stuff, other people's records. So like trying to switch over to this, it's just like,
It's like, yeah.
I got this already in my
Yeah.
head, so I can't really appreciate this the way I should.
But yeah, man. That's our thoughts on a few of these albums and stuff for the week, man. You know, get out here, get something to eat. Shit. Hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, it's your dude Superb.
Oh, Tom.
David Missile.
All right, man. Catch y'all on another episode of MC2MC. Peace.
Peace.